George. How you doing? It says there's two people, and I cannot tell how my signal is going to be today. I'm uh, I'm using the WeBoost and the computer. This is not delivered. Okay. I'm sorry, you saw the shirt for a little minute. There were two people on here. Well, good morning and welcome to Simply Live with me, SimplyLesa. Glad that you could join me, or if you're coming back on a replay, I'm glad that you can find this again. I hope that by my communicating with y'all out here, that I encourage you to live a life that you design. I hope that some of the tidbits of information that I'm able to provide to you guys. Good morning, Angie Mae. I hope that some of the information I'm able to give you guys is helpful in some way. And like I said, just to encourage you to build your own life and have your own adventures and just move past whatever it is that we feel like blocks us. Oh my goodness, Betty Joe, I've been thinking about you. I almost called you yesterday. In 2 weeks, Miss Betty Joe. Okay, so the announcement about Overland Expo. I have not done any of the housekeeping or anything yet, but Overland Expo in 2 weeks on the, oh crap, I don't have a calendar close. On the weekend of the something-teenth. Hang on, let me flip a page. Okay, so the 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st of May, Overland Expo West will be in Flagstaff, Arizona. I will be camping in the instructor section because I'm teaching. And the class I'm teaching, can I remember the exact name? The class I'm teaching this year, I put in for a number of classes, but there's a lot more new people giving presentations this year. So I am only teaching one class in this place. So I will be teaching, what did I call the class? A class called Nomadic Travels. Oh yeah, I forgot the name already. Let's see. It's about traveling long distance in tiny vehicles with tiny budgets. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. That's what my class will be about, even though that's not a perfect the perfect title of the class. Hopefully my signal's not too bad. Oh, I'm so glad, Betty Joe. I can tell I keep seeing my computer glitch. So, hi, Catherine. I wondered if you'd be here. Catherine, are you guys doing well? And did I see that it was Homer's birthday? Happy hymn day to him. Uh, I know it's been a little chilly again. Um, oh, okay. Thanks for the signal thing. Um, and I didn't put a headset in today. I'm just using a computer. Oh, so yes, teaching at Overland Expo. I'll be camping in the instructor section there. I will not be in the DIY. Although after they see what I've changed on my rig, I'll probably be in DIY next time. Um, Wednesday, I should have received my expensive to me, but really needed Oh, Catherine, I didn't know yours was just had just happened. So happy you day, Catherine, too. Um, in the religion I grew up in, we didn't keep birthdays, so that's not a thing for me normally. So if you ever see me saying happy you day, that's kind of why, because I'll acknowledge, but it's not a celebration thing that I ever did. Is that Greg? Oh, Greg, hey. Um, so we're going to talk about today. I decided we're going to talk about, not only are you going to, you know, peppered in here, I'll put in the things that have been going on. And as part of the stories, I describe some of the things happening. I'm still trying to get more of the videos pulled together in a way that makes sense to me for the Baja trip, to be able to put more of that out for you guys. And some of that information I am pulling together for the presentation for my class at Expo. So it appears that my signal is coming and going. The first week I was at the cabin, because I've been here, I keep looking for a calendar and I don't have one here. But I've been here 2 weeks. I can't remember if I've been here 2.5 weeks, but anyways, 2 weeks. And in the 2 weeks that I've been here, the first week, maybe the first 10 days, my signal was fantastic. I wasn't having glitches at all. But then we had some really high winds, and I wonder if something didn't happen to the cell phone tower, because we've really just had glitchy connections. So I apologize. Oh, okay. Thank you, Angie. I will be teaching more classes at more events as I'm able to maneuver that. But Overland X has asked me to continue with them for sure. And oh, hey Janet, how you doing? I'm looking at names to see if I missed saying hi to anybody. If I didn't mention your name, it's not personal. It's because I didn't see it. So you'll get peppered in this conversation, some stuff that's been going on. I've been simplifying. I know that I missed getting out my Wednesday blog post. It's a goal. It's a thing I've been trying to do for a long time, and I was getting pretty good at every Wednesday being able to give you guys a blog post. And this week, I just didn't get it done, but I've been writing one that I'll probably put out before Wednesday, as if it was this for this past week, because I've had a lot of stuff that's been a lot to think about, and that's usually my style of writing for the blog, has a lot to do with nearly journaling at the same time. Oh, and I need to tell you guys that we kind of have to only be about an hour today. I have an appointment at 1:30 away from home, and so well, away from the cabin. So I will need to be leaving here at a reasonable time. So somewhere between 10:30 and 11 at the latest, we will be stopping the live this morning. So thank you all for being here. I see that we have 11 people. If the moderator people that are here, I didn't see if Iris was here yet, but the moderator people, if they're here, please help me with some of that stuff. Guys, if you give me thumbs up, it evidently helps the algorithms better than even subscribing. But I appreciate everything that we do. Subscribe, like, thumbs up. Don't forget I have super thanks and super chats, which do help. I'm trying to figure out if there's some way that I can somehow connect everything easier, because like I do this stuff for YouTube, but then I have to do something different for Instagram and something different for Facebook, and it's getting to be too much. And then I also have the .com website, but I haven't even played with that. Somebody else helped me with that. So So I've got to get a lot of things done in the next 2 weeks before Overland Expo. And Betty Joe, or Brooke, the reason I was thinking about you so much is I'm starting to have the thoughts ahead as to what day do I want to be in Flagstaff. And of course, I want to spend some time with you while I'm up there. And the weekend following Overland Expo, I will be going to Zuki Palooza. Zuki Palooza is going to be somewhere near Heber and Overgard in Arizona, which means it's like up on the Mogollon Rim. And I know that Flagstaff's a little cold right now, but anyway, so I will be, communicating with the friends of mine that'll be camping in those areas so that we can, include you guys in what I'm doing too, because I don't mind, I don't mind hanging with folks. Let's see. So I've been doing things like I was fixing my fence because of that elk that got in while I was gone. I realized that when COVID happened and I was nervous about being able to here on the property, I pushed my fence out so far that I pushed for the yard fence, because it's different from my property fence. Anyway, my property fences are along the easement lines, except for one, but that's because I'm very friendly with the neighbor on that side. But anyway, so the yard fence is different. It's to keep the cattle away or the coyotes away from when I had Aussie, little dogs, whatever, to keep my like private space a little neater. It's easier to maintain. But I had pushed the fence line too close to a game trail. And I knew that it had bothered the elk. I had seen that. So I finally, well, all the animals. So I've been working on moving that back in to give the animals their game trail back because they need it. So that's one of the things I'm doing. And did I see that was G that just came in? If I did, how cool is that? Yeah, hey G, how you doing? Hugs, love to everybody. So yeah, let's see. So some other things that happened this week, and then we'll get right into the subject because I know I feel like I'm not distracted, but I have a lot on my mind. And so, and I had just started, a couple of hours ago, I started doing some journaling and realized it was turning into the blog post that never got done earlier in the week. So that'll get out. You'll get to see it. But I helped my friend Skipper Doodle 69 that some of you all met a couple of weekends ago on the live. I helped him to get to his first leg of his adventure. He is on his way to the Philippines. And I heard about an hour ago, I got a message from him that said, don't look up. We just passed over your house. And I was like, what? And then the next text, because he's a joker, the next text was ... We just dumped our tanks. He was being funny, trying to say that that they had just left Arizona as they were on the plane. He went to Albuquerque to catch a plane to go to the Philippines. So I got him started on that, helped him with his tickets, and did some stuff like that to get him more comfortable. And he's gone. So he's on his trip. So you all may want to watch his channel just to see some interest. Who knows what's going to happen? He's already had it happen. I think he walked about, I don't know, 15 miles the other night in the middle of the night because he ended up in Albuquerque during Cinco de Mayo? No, wrong thing. Yeah, Cinco de Mayo, right? That just happened. Anyways, he ended up getting off a bus too late at night in the middle of a party in a crowded, Latino-centric place, and couldn't get a taxi to pick him up and couldn't find a hotel and walked a long ways. So, but he's on his adventure, which is so cool. And I can't wait for y'all to be making your own adventures. But it makes me anxious for being able to go to other parts in the world that I might not be able to drive to. So who knows what's going to happen. Okay, let's get into the subject though. If you have questions, please have questions. Please ask me things. I am more than happy to answer questions as we go along. Remember to put the uppercase Q's out there for me so that that makes it easier for me to notice. So, traveling with invisible disabilities is what I put out there as the subject for today. And part of that's because I haven't yet talked much about how the Baja trip and my disabilities was, because it was there. And as I go through the pictures and I'm trying to work on the videos, sometimes I'm stalled by, well, I don't want to say that and I don't want to say that, because the people involved didn't know what was going on with me because I couldn't tell them, how tall am I? I was 5'8", but I'm getting older. I'm 5'6". Yeah. So people can't see my disabilities normally. Okay. I'm not saying you can never notice. Okay. But I have moments when it's worse than others. And technically, at this point in time, I still have the words MS, multiple sclerosis. See, sometimes I can actually say it. Yeah, so, and I have been diagnosed with, depression and post-traumatic stress and things like that. So I have disabilities, but if you just saw me walking down the street, and now that I'm getting older, you might not notice that sometimes my left side doesn't work well, or that sometimes too much stress or too tired or not eating at the right time or not getting the right foods, because diet really affects me, or bumping into something I'm crazy allergic to. Sometimes you won't notice what's going on with me. Yeah, I agree with that. But you know what? I this coming week, no, tomorrow, I have my annual appointment with my MS doctor. This will only be the second time I've seen them, and I was trying to maneuver to get a new MRI done before I went to see him. That hasn't happened, but I got it all approved. I'm just waiting to be able to go do it. Thank you so much. Oh, hi, daughter of the Most High. I haven't seen you in a little bit. I think you used to comment on videos a lot. So, don't you love the mug? I picked up two of these mugs when I was down in Mexico. I love enamel. And somebody while I was gone didn't know this. Enamel is glass, it's steel, and then they dip it in glass. That's how it becomes what it is. And that's why when you drop it on something like stone, you might chip it and then it might rust a little bit. But it's glass over the top of steel. Anyway, and that's why it doesn't cook that good. But, well, I mean, it boils water good. But anyways, I love these mugs. So traveling with disabilities can be a challenge anyway. Okay? Anybody that has a disability, you have to manage it in all parts of your life. So when you decide to travel, say for example, you have a physical disability that you either have to have a cane or you're in a wheelchair, then that's a real obvious. You have to pick where you're going so that you know the wheelchair will work, or whether you can push yourself, or whether you're going to need help pushing you, or whether your cane is enough to get you up the steps to the, whatever it is you want to see. Some museum, well, I was thinking of something in New York City. There's some famous places that, like the library, that have lots of steps. Now, of course, they also have elevators, but some places you want to go see something really cool and it might be hard for you to do. So you have to adjust and manage your abilities with what's possible for whatever it is you want to see. So I think that that's kind of an unspoken thing that anybody that's human and has something going on, I mean, and we all do, right? That we learn how to do. And some of us have disabilities that aren't like classified in the, what's the book called? The NSDA book or whatever it is that allows people to be put on disability. It's like a dictionary of all the things you can have that the doctors use in order to then say. And of course, Janet, you have RA. And I know many other people with RA. I know people with lots of different things, fibromyalgias, all kinds of things. They don't always show up. You might go to pick up a cup today. Now, somebody with MS can have the same problem, but you can pick up something and just you think you've got it, you don't quite got it. And it's like crooked if it's too full, So I don't fill my cups as full as I used to, right? It's one way I manage things. And then I'm seeing some of these comments I'm going to have to go back and read, right? But I can see basic things right now. How's the lion diet going? I'll tell you in a minute. And yes, you might have the perception that you're doing fine today, and then like in the 5 times I was paralyzed, I thought I was fine. And then all of a sudden I'm on the ground and I don't know why I'm on the ground. Well, it was evidently MS, but it was undiagnosed. We didn't know that. And there's no MS in my family. So not that anybody's aware of. So it wasn't something that we knew. But the point being that if it's invisible, other people don't notice either, right? It's not like I'm blind enough, or I shouldn't put it with me, but I think you understand what I'm saying. But it's not like I've got a wheelchair and you just know I got a problem, or I've got a white cane and dark glasses because I really am so blind that I can't see, right? You can't notice mine. Mine is like I'm just there, and somebody might think, oh, you're just an old person, and that's why you walk a little funny, or you're just fat, or you're just I don't know what. People with IBS, nobody knows they've got IBS, but man, when they eat something, they're running for the bathroom, and that's why a lot of van dwellers and nomadic types have come to me with that and asked how to solve those problems. Yes, I think food would think I'm a normal, healthy. They don't see. Yes. Do you think food affects your disability? Yes, I do think that. But I also think that more than that affects it. And yes, gee, you have gout that comes and goes. Oh, yeah, that's hard. Yeah. I'm strong, but again, yeah, exactly. And so very affected by the foods I eat as well. Are you on carnivore? Oh, cool, Angie. We'll have more stuff to talk about then. So, what I found now, I want to talk kind of about what's happened since I came back from Baja, because I really wasn't ready to come back to the cabin at first. So I didn't come straight back here. I went to visit some other friends. And then one morning I woke up and I went, you know what? I want to go where it's familiar. And I'm concerned that it might still be cold, but I think it's time to go. So I'm going to go home. And home, kind of an odd term for me. Anyways, and so I came up to the cabin and I got here and I went, oh, this is different. So I got here and I was like, just glad to be in a space that was familiar, where I knew that I wasn't just going to trip, catch my toe on something, which is a thing for me a little bit. I mean, I haven't tripped a long time, but it was just, yeah. And then I got here and I was like, I just, I just saw it as I need to simplify this place. I made it too complicated. And I built it for COVID and needing to be here and growing food in case there were no grocery stores. And to support people that aren't even interested in me or I was trying to build this so that I knew I wasn't the only one that needed to be careful with their food. And so I thought that some other friends out in the RV world would be coming here and needing to get food, and the land could support them. And while I was gone this winter, I bumped into them again and I realized they don't even care about me or the things I'm interested in, and they're never going to come here. And I was like, well, in that case, why have I done this? Because what this is for, this location, is I was given this, I feel like I was given this by God to kind of help me be a better person so that I can then share with other people what I've been gifted as my talents. So I realized I need to be able to recharge my batteries. So I was so glad that my trees were still just the right length for my hammock so I could hang my hammock. And a couple of sunny days that I was here, I had the hammock's still hanging outside. You can't see it because I haven't turned the computer around, but so I started thinking about simplifying it a little bit and allowing the wild animals to have their space back. And so I've done a couple of things. But some of the first thoughts I had were maybe I should, because I don't have much money, maybe I should tear this one thing down in the greenhouse in order to have the building materials to fix something else that would make it more comfortable. And then I realized that that was not a good plan after I went out, looked it over, and started to take something down and went, wow, I built this thing good. And then it was like, oh no, I'm not tearing it down. I'm just going to make a couple of changes to it and fix the fence. So even the process gets to be simplified. Okay, am I getting off track here with the whole invisible disabilities and travel thing? Traveling with disabilities, again, you've just got to manage the same way you do in whatever you call your everyday life. For me, travel is my everyday life. I don't do anything else. My whole life is centered around the next adventure. So it's it's up to me to know myself well enough to know what I need so that I can then take the deep breath, take care of me first, so then my interactions with people can be better. And when I went on this trip to Baja, I had asked God to help me learn how to reconnect with other people in a safe and healthy way. And it was hard. Now, no offense if any of those people come out here anonymously and later on watch the replay or something. No offense to anybody. But honestly, a couple of the people, I think the first or second, I think it was the second or the third day, we'd already been through stuff. We've already been to public restrooms together and stuff like that. And the second or third day, one of the women, as three of us women are going into a bathroom at the same time, says to me, do you need the handicap bathroom? I should leave that for you. And I was like, why would you leave that for me? And she goes, because you're disabled. And I was like, no, I don't need the handicap bathroom. And it just struck me. It's something I'm remembering, but it struck me as this person has no idea what my disabilities are. This person doesn't understand me as a human being yet. And so it was odd to me that they asked, it was nice. Yeah, sure, it was nice that they thought about it a little bit, or thought about me a little bit. But no, I didn't need the handicap bathroom. I don't have trouble sitting down on a regular sized toilet. I don't have trouble closing the door. You know, I can manage these things. It's not that kind of a thing. But for me with the MS, I have had now I'm going to try to tie it back together because even when I got home, I was enough tired from the trip, the stressors, the length of hours and hours of driving. And now, not many of you have ridden in my tracker, but I was told by one person who took a ride with me, oh my God, this feels like a tilt-a-whirl from when I was a kid. And I was like, a tilt-a-whirl? You mean the ride at the county fair? And they were like, yeah, the metal clunky rides. That's what it feels like. And I was like, oh. And they were like, this is different. The truck I'm driving is so cushy. And I was like, yeah, I can imagine your truck is cushy. I can't imagine what it's like to drive in a cushy vehicle on the roads I drove on, down in Baja because I'm rattling my teeth. Okay, now can you guys handle a kind of off joke? The off kind of tease joke I made one day was we got done with one road where there were a lot of very consistently spaced bumps, which I don't know how that happened because it wasn't like a cement road or something, but it's like bump, 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 in a pattern. We got to the end of it and I was like, okay, now, please don't be offended. But I was like, that was an adjust the bra road, because it was very washboardy, yeah, but it was just like, I was like, I've been shook to crap today. And when I made the joke in camp or the tease in camp about, okay, girls, we can readjust the bras now, right? They were all like, what are you talking about? I don't get it. And when I explained it, they cracked the freak up, okay? But before, they didn't get it because their cars aren't bouncy. They have newer vehicles. And so they weren't getting bounced around like I was. It was like, oh, well, okay, well, so much for that. But it was a good tease in my opinion. Anyways, because it was a road. Anyway, but other people don't always notice. So they don't, because it's invisible. Not only do they not notice, but they forget that you have any disabilities. And so like sometimes after 6 hours of driving that really hard, and I've got video to put out where I'm holding the cell phone in my hand like this, and you see the top of my fist on the steering wheel as I'm driving on some of these really hard to drive on roads. And unfortunately, my fist is kind of really in the picture a lot, but hopefully you'll get a better view of what it's like to ride in my tracker, because it was like, I don't have any other way to show you this without you seeing my knuckles on the, yeah. So, but 5-6 hours of that kind of driving, and we get to camp, I don't even care about food. I gotta lay down. I am so exhausted, and stress and exhaustion for me affects my left side, which I understand that stuff is my MS, okay? And so if I don't rest, I run the risk of my left side being really affected. And I had time gone that my left hand, one was numb, then it was tingly, but I was worried for a week that I was going to lose the use of my left hand. Because I think it was a combination of the stress and the white knuckle driving. There was a lot of white knuckle driving. And so, but you can't blame the other people. Hi, I see new people here. Hi, whoever's just coming in. Be on the road. Good morning. And so, especially, well, I had sports bras on. That wasn't the whole point. That wasn't the whole issue there. Um, but I'm just saying. But di- invisible disabilities, nobody realizes that their perfume, their laundry soap has made you so affected that you've got to go get fresh air. So you can't be in the laundromat and the whole time your clothes are being washed, right? For me, I can't. Okay. Somebody put on perfume one day and I'm like, oh, that's nice. And so for the whole day, I'm avoiding the person because I don't need to have to grab Benadryl for that on top of all the other things going on. So, and the other people just, they can't see it. So they don't remember a lot of times. And so there were a couple of times, hi Shane, there were a couple of times when I actually got to camp, took a little short walk, and then went to bed early. And the next day they were complaining that they didn't know where I was last night. And I was like, I was in my car. They were like, you couldn't have been. I looked in your car. I didn't see you. And I was like, okay. But that's where I was. I was sleeping. And in my case for the MS, and I think in the case of lots of people with invisible disabilities or mental illnesses or other things, sometimes you just need to add extra rest. And so I think to take good care of ourselves, our diets, I know it's crazy important. Diet's more important than medicine is, in my opinion. And I think yes, being out in nature. So it was really super important for me to take my 5 o'clock alone walks in the morning to wake up and get that first light in my eyes. That's a big deal to me. And so I would go for my 5 o'clock walk in the morning and then factor in extra rest. And rest for me is not sitting in a crowded Americanized restaurant. That is not rest to me. It's not rest to me to go shopping. That's not rest. To me, the rest is when I can sit absolutely still for a little while and stare at the wall. Or, which I really hope someday to really be able to do more often, or to have my hammock close by. Now that's rest. 15, 20 minutes in the hammock and I'm a whole different person. So those things are possible. But I think that it's important when we travel, and especially if we're traveling with other people, it's our responsibility to not only manage our disabilities and then manage them when we get finished with the trip. Because now that I'm back, it's taken me a couple of weeks of just, I'm so tired. I want to go do some stuff, but I can't think straight. I'm exhausted. And then when I went to Gallup with Skipperdoodle, I ate something I haven't eaten in a really long time, and I was 2 days of just tired, and my bathroom stuff was different. And I was okay. It was not IBS, but it was like I could tell. Don't do that yet. That's not good yet. So, but we're the one responsible, and so we're responsible for ourselves. I mean, everybody's responsible for themselves. And so in under those circumstances, and especially when your disability is not a visible thing, we have to speak up when we need to. And once during the month, I spoke up one day saying, I can't keep up the pace that you guys are going at today. I can't drive this fast for another 3 hours. I can't do it. And they were like, but we're not driving that fast. Yes, you are. I can convert kilometers to miles. 120 or 130 kilometers is kind of fast for my tracker. And I can't, hours and hours. It was 6 or 7 hours of, this fast driving and passing 6 and 7 cars at a time. And I had to speak up, but it's our responsibility. We got to do that. We got to speak up and say, hey, I get that you guys can do this. I did speak up a couple of times during that particular trip. I get that you guys can do this thing, and you go right ahead and do what you're planning to do for the day. But may I please have the pins of where you're going to be, and give me a couple extra hours. I'll meet you there. I'll get there when I get there. And they're like, oh, no, 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 no. We're not leaving you behind. There is no way. And I'm like, but I need you to leave me behind. I need you to let me do it myself. I need you to. And they're like, oh, no, no, no. You're traveling between me and this. The whole month I rode sandwiched between people because they didn't know how to deal with me and my smaller car. Okay? Honestly, me being older, me being disabled, me not being a mechanic, and me having a smaller, more vintage car than anybody else's. So I was sandwiched in the middle of the caravan the whole trip. I'm a very independent person. I bet a few of you can imagine how annoying that was to me. Because I got this. I have traveled all by my freaking self to many foreign countries and then moved and lived there. Didn't even know the language. Figured it out. And if y'all think I can't go 2 miles down the road by myself, y'all got something coming to you. Anyway, so let me let's not judge them. I mean, I'm sure that it was all intended with good stuff everywhere, anything that happened, because there were too many people for them to be, if it was, let's watch us be mean to Lesa, it would have come out differently. So I think that it was all done with best intentions. So I'd rather not judge them, but to say is it's my responsibility, it's our responsibility. If our disabilities are invisible, we got to speak up. We got to get on the radio. Okay, my radio didn't work most of the time. I need a radio. Somebody help me get Midland to give me a set of radios for the tracker, please. But to say on the radio, I need the bathroom, because I wouldn't even do that. And because I wouldn't speak up a lot of times, I actually drove 2/3 of one day on a nearly flat tire and didn't even know it. So I'm just saying, yeah, we have to. I knew something was wrong I could tell something was wrong, but because my old habit and the part of my post-traumatic stress disorder issues came from childhood neglect and abuse stuff. I grew up with the idea that everything that I thought, felt, and processed was wrong. I never grew up with the, oh, Lisa's right. We should do XYZ. Lisa's right. No, it was always, Lesa is always the wrong one. And in fact, she's caused things to happen that she didn't even know existed. And so, because that happened to me so young, my first thoughts are not, something's wrong with my car. My first thoughts are, I'm doing something wrong that's making the car not run right. And it's because I can't put my foot on the pedal the right way, right? That's the way my thoughts go. So I don't think first something's wrong with the pedal on the car. I think it's my foot pushing the pedal. My foot's wrong, not the pedal, right? Come find out my throttle cable was loose. Okay? I had no idea. So there were many times when I thought it was me and it didn't have anything to do with me. There was really something wrong with my car. And on the way home, when we got back up to La Paz, so now we've gone all the way to Cabo and back up to La Paz. So we're 2/3 of the trip, right? We're a week from being done. That's when one of them finally drove my car. I'd been asking them to before that, but one of them drove it and went, "Oh my God, your blah 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 isn't working right. Oh my God, that other thing isn't working right. You've been driving this whole. Can I please have permission to fix this thing? Yeah, I'll fix it. I didn't know it could be fixed." So, you know, sometimes we got to speak up so that other people can help us too, because they can't see what's wrong with us. And then we've got to build in enough rest. I know for me, because stress makes all illnesses worse. Bad food makes all illnesses work. And you got to know what's bad food for you. Now, I believe, and I bet, I forgot her name. That's the carnivore in here. I bet there's a lot more people that understand this now. I think that one of the best foods for humans now, I think that this is true, I think are ruminant meats. And okay, so here's the lion diet thing. I've been struggling with lion diet a little bit. Okay, I have. I have been 6 months on lion diet. I have not gotten super skinny like other people talk about. I have not gotten rid of all my problems. I don't have IBS anymore. I don't have chronic diarrhea, which I've had for 30 years or something. That stuff's gone. Yeah. The dry patch of skin on the back of on my back, between my shoulder blades, is gone. Yeah. Some of that stuff's better. I still have dry skin. I still have days when my left side is weaker. I still have some stuff. And so I've been like, okay, sometimes I can't afford the meat, or sometimes it's not that I can't afford it. I've been finding ways to afford it. But sometimes it's like, well, if I got to go to the store every 3 days, I'm using gas money. I'm putting more time and energy on my car, right? I'm wearing out my car faster. And how can I maneuver this? So I've done some things so that my refrigerator has been working almost as a freezer, okay? And but I just figured out what's wrong with it. It's my 12-volt plug on the refrigerator is loose in sockets, and I knew that. So I lay my Rock Pals battery pack on its side so that the 12-volt plug can be straight down, so gravity helps keep it in, until I can get to the point where I just have been looking it up. I'm going to change eventually, sometime. I hope it happens in the next couple of weeks, but if it doesn't, whatever. But I'm going to change the plug. I am going to cut the plug. This is going to be scary. Or I may have somebody help me do it. But I need to cut the plug, put some Anderson connectors on, because I have a set of plugs with other ends on them that are Anderson plugs. And then I can use one of the other 12-volt outlets on the Rock Pals to run the fridge, and it won't come unplugged. And so that's one thing I got to do. And the other thing is that my Wii Boost is also 12 volt. And the only way when I'm here at the cabin that I can run both the Wii Boost for the cell phone signal and the refrigerator is I have to use 2 different battery packs. And I have an old one and a new one. So I'm going to, I would love to hardwire it completely, but I'm not sure if that's right yet, G. So, but I will at least change the plugs to start with, because that's part of the problem. And once I figured out that's part of the solution, that's not a hard thing. I haven't actually done it all by myself alone. I'm afraid of like screwing up the polarity on things. but I bet I won't. And I know how to follow directions. But I don't have any Anderson connectors here, so I'll be working on that soon after Wednesday, because Wednesday the solar panel system for the hood of my car comes. How did I afford that? I sold something big. I sold the water tank off my property. I did. I sold it for two things. I probably, the other person got a good deal too. Okay, so I sold it for cash and as new as I had it. I wanted brand new, but I got a 1 year old water cube uh, uh, IBC tote. And what I want to do in the future is have two IBC totes. And eventually, Shane knows this, but he hasn't heard the whole thing. Anyways, eventually, I got to get the gutters on the cabin so that the gutters will feed the IBC totes. That will rain catchment keep them full. And that I can maneuver moving around an empty IBC tote, but I never could that big tank. And I was able to get enough money so that I can still have water here, move them easier and manage them myself. They can be put down low where eventually the gutters will go into them, and have enough money so I could order that very expensive solar panel from Cascadia 4x4 for the hood of my car. And yes, I said that, for the hood of my car. I bought the one that is designed to manage the heat of the engine on the hood. So I bought that very expensive. It'll be here Wednesday. It should be here Wednesday. Monday is a doctor's appointment for the MS doctor. Just we'll check in with him. I'm leaving the tracker in St. John's with Stan the mechanic for him to put airbags on the tracker and to do an oil change. And then we will discuss other things, because the payment for that work, the payment for the solar panel for the hood of the car, and the IBC tote was the payment, and an Amazon order was the payment for the big tank. And the big tank was something that was needed by a neighbor. So I think it was a win-win for all of us in the process. Sounds, when I'm repeating it, it feels like that was complicated, but because it kind of just flowed into process. Yeah, I don't know how many of you know about Stoic philosophy. I tend to love Stoic philosophy. It resonates with me pretty much. And why was I going into that? Because of the flow thing. That's where I was going with that. There's a lot of, in Stoic thought, there's a lot of comments about, the thing is not the problem. It's the way we think about the thing that becomes the problem. And I mean, I find that to be true. I do. And, sometimes maybe like this past week when I'm thinking about all the things that I'm wondering, I got 2 weeks. How am I going to be ready for this class? Have the tracker ready? Somehow get all that freaking sand out of the inside of the tracker from the whole trip. I got the outside washed once, but now it needs washing again. But it's still got dirt all inside of it. How do I get this thing cleaned up, ready for going to Expo? Be ready to teach, have a thing together, get the videos out, move the fence here, and then I can't think and I can't remember what to do first. Well, in kind of Stoic thought, you do the thing that's in front of you first. So what's the one? Oh, yeah. Okay. So for example, oh, yeah, I got to go to the bathroom. Let's go do the bathroom first. Okay. While you're in doing the bathroom, then you go, oh, I should put lunch on. Okay, you put lunch on. And then the next thing, it just pops up. Now, go move that one fence pole, and you come back and lunch is ready. I was like, okay, I can handle that, got that. But sometimes things just flow like that. I don't know why I'm doing my hands that way. Flow like that. And it's like right now that one works. And okay, so I've tried really hard to remember to make, maybe more than make peace with, maybe even make friends with. I don't know what to do. I can't think. I want to call a friend and talk it out. And then you call the friend and they're too busy. And you're like, okay, I just have to sit in this space for a little while. Okay, deep breath. It feels really ugly. You know what? Put the ugly part away. It doesn't feel ugly. I just don't like that being uncomfortable. So, and then before you know it, it just kind of all flows into it worked, it's over, it's all done. It's like, okay, that all kind of just went together. I never would have expected it to go together like that, but yay. So I didn't expect to come home and sell that water tank in order to get the solar panel, to do the other thing, to I had no idea. But here I am facing this, and it all just kind of working out, and me taking a deep breath and going, okay, so I want to have all this stuff done to the car, but we're starting with these two things. It needs the oil change. And Stan told me I really need the airbags put on. And we talked about changing the springs, and then we went for a ride, and he said, "Yeah, no, don't do the springs. It'll be too hard. Go ahead and do the airbags. You're gonna love the ride better." I was like, okay. So for 200 and I don't know $30 or something, I'm putting airbags on the tracker because it doesn't sit quite level anyway. But so deep breath. We just do that much because I can see that much. The other stuff's too far away, too out of my control. It's just they need doing too. Someday I need to put a snorkel on the tracker. And the snorkel's not for water in my case. I mean, it would help with water. No, the snorkel in my case is to get cleaner air into the engine because trackers like their clean air. And a snorkel's good in this dusty, deserty stuff to make sure that the air filter's not getting too clogged up. I have, more times have I taken my air filter out, and, down in Baja, and just, tapped it on something with a cloud of dust. Yeah. So snorkel's going to be important someday, but I'm not even looking for that yet. So, what else? But it's our job to manage our disabilities. And just remember, other people can't see what we feel. And if we're not communicating what we need, we're not communicating, well, then that's on us. But if we communicate and then we work with people on stuff, it really does work better. And so I think it worked better, even though I got teased a lot once I said, I can't do another 3 hours of what we have just done this morning. I just can't. And they didn't really slow down for me exactly. I got teased quite a bit, but at least I knew they all knew. And I stopped trying so hard to force myself to keep up. I just kind of went a little different. So, wow, there's a name. Well, yeah, Jack. That's an interesting name. So let's see. Whoops, I guess I gotta touch something to see the messages again. There we go. My IBC totes I will take care of, making sure that they're protected from the sun. Yes, G, I understand that's what you're doing, what you're talking about. That dry meat, that carne seca that I had, G, oh my gosh, that was the best. I need like 5 freaking bags of that carne seca and 2 or 3 jars of commercially done tallow. I need to have that stuff stashed. I need, a couple of bags stashed here at the cabin. I need a couple of bags always in the car. And before it's down to 1 bag, I need to have a new order going in because that saved that was not the base of my diet, but that helped. That made me more lunches, more snacks than anything I was able to do. That helped so freaking much. And so now with that new solar panel, I'll be able to run the refrigerator. Now that I figured out I can actually make it freeze my steaks. I don't know how well it's going to freeze when it gets hotter out and when it's in a hot car. But I've run it as a freezer here for nearly 5 days and it's been working fine. Now I had to unplug it last night because I was having trouble. One of my battery packs didn't get enough sun the other day. See, I've only got one solar panel that's got a wire coming through the bottom of a window in order to keep one of the battery packs always on a solar panel. And so I had to unplug the refrigerator to charge the other one. For some reason, it was cloudy out and I didn't feel like putting the portable system outdoors. And so some of that's just I built in too many annoyances or something. But fixing the cables, the cords. So changing my cords to Anderson plugs so I can change the tips on the 12 volts. I mean, I know that most battery packs, I don't know if you guys know this. Have you paid attention? I didn't pay attention before. Most battery packs have at least 2 ports that are 12 volt, but they're 8mm barrel plugs. And then they have one 12 volt female outlet. It means the whole one, like a cigarette lighter hole. And so that's pretty common. But that means there's 3 ways to use 12 volts. But I have 2 plugs using 12 volt and they're both the kind that sticks in, they're both male plugs for the cigarette lighter hole. And so I was having to, if I just fix the cords, and I'm not sure if I can fix the Wii Boost cord to go into a barrel plug as well. Because if I could do the Wii Boost as well, then I just feel like that would just free some things up. And I broke one on my Rock Pals. I broke the high-speed USB-C plug. I forgot one time somebody was riding with me in the winter and I went to I went to move the Rock Pals into the back of the car so that they could use the front seat, and I didn't unplug my computer from the high-speed plug. And when I went to get it out, the plug was bent. And I thought I broke my computer plug, but I didn't. I broke the Rock Pals plug. So now the only way I can charge my computer is to plug it in with a 110 outlet right now is all I can do because I don't have a USB to C adapter. But those are some of the things that I can fix low cost. That those fixes solve some of these problems for way lower cost, easier. So, and I also decided to bring back into my diet, whoever asked about Lion diet stuff, I decided to reintroduce a couple of foods. I had tried them during the trip last month. So I brought back in sheep milk cheese and goat cheese. And I just, since I've been here, 2-3 weeks, whatever it is that I've been at the cabin, I bought some eggs at the farmer's market and I tried egg yolks, and I'm okay with egg yolks. I'm afraid of egg whites, so I haven't even tried them. But I can do egg yolks. So now, how cool is it? Once I get the refrigerator running and I'm back in the car, we're talking in 2 weeks when I'm back in the car again. I should be able to more easily travel with goat cheese, sheep cheese, eggs. Those things I don't have to keep them as cold as I do meat, right? And then I can buy I love steak bites. Now, to me, what that is I buy a cheap steak. I have a Bash's up at Sanders, Arizona. It's about I think we clocked it at 26 miles from where I park my car here at the cabin. So I think it's 26 miles from here to Sanders Bash's. And Bash's, I watch, if I go early in the morning, the butcher puts out things with manager's tags on it, manager sale tags on it. And often I can get a big pack with 5 steaks in it. And it might be chuck steaks, it might be, I don't know. But the chuck steaks and one other, I forgot what the other one was called. They're pretty marbled. And sometimes they have a little edge of fat on them. And the fat's good for us. Okay, people, I mean, I get that some people, you've been told it's not good for you. I don't believe that anymore. Okay. But anyway, so I can get those. I can take a steak and cut it in cubes and put it in a baggie and stick it in the fridge here and either freeze it or just whatever. But when I'm hungry, I just put that on and cook it. Or I can stand here for an hour and I can cook 4 steaks up and do some of the steaks in little chunks so they're bites. And then put each steak's worth of little chunks in a different bag. Let it cool off good before I put it in the fridge, and then put it in the fridge. And then I can eat those when they're cold. Those are so freaking good. And now that I can have egg yolks, half a steak and 2 egg yolks for breakfast feels like I've had a meal that I haven't been able to have in years. And so that's kind of nice. I kind of like that a lot. I have 2 big logs of plain goat cheese right now. And I was thinking that maybe for dinner later, I might take 4 egg yolks and try to see if I can make eggs and put a little bit of the goat's cheese in it and see how that feels for a dinner meal. Because if that's a good dinner meal, that's cheap, that's easy to carry. I have less chance of the temperatures being affected too much by with the refrigerators. So, no, Brooke, Betty Joe, those eggs would probably be okay-ish. The thing for me is that they've run across the machine. I know they're whole eggs, okay? They've run across the machine, so a lot of people's energy has gotten near it, and they've been pasteurized. And so I still am not yet doing egg whites, and there are egg whites in that because they're whole eggs. So I don't know yet whether that would be okay. The last time I ate some of those, I had pretty bad indigestion for a while. And so I don't know the answer. I think in the future, I'd like to have the best of the foods that I can have. So, yeah, I think more meat, more better too, G. And I don't know, G, if you've looked at Dr. Ken Berry on YouTube. He has a whole video on gout and being carnivore with gout. and you might be interested in that. Um, what else? Oh, I just thought of something. I'll tell you the thought. Um, I saw my face on the computer screen and I went, oh yeah, I should tell you guys. When I was with Skipper Doodle up in Gallup the other night, he rented a really nice hotel room, and he's quite the gentleman. And we had agreed earlier on how I could go up and spend a night with him up there, and be safe and platonic and all of that, because I have ethics, and because of how I feel about things, I don't want a bad reputation. But of course, I'm talking about myself anyways. But he and I are not romantically involved. I don't know if we ever could be. I'm just saying we're not. And I was like, the only way I'll do this, I would love to do this. I would love to have a new adventure. I would love to go swimming in a pool. I would love to, whatever. So yeah, right now I'm not doing egg whites. Right now. I understand when you're reintroducing things to go really slow, and most people reintroducing things, they from lion diet to carnivore, they said start with egg yolk, and so that's what I decided to try, and I'm fine with the yolk. But I tried egg whites one day and I was nauseous, and so just gonna go slow. I don't remember the reason why. Maybe that other woman just commented. Maybe she remembers why. So I talked it carefully out. I just want you guys to get this, that I I try to be very, very careful with men. I've had some bad experiences. I like men, yes. I am not, I don't go the other way. I've been asked many times, which is, flattering in some ways, and in other ways it's like, okay, whatever. But no, I like men, okay? But I need to be really careful about how I deal with men because, when I was younger, I'll just say it out there because some people are afraid of these things. But I've been raped. I've had shit happen. It's not happening again. And I need to be very clear when I tell people either I'm interested or I'm not interested, right? And there are some people it's like, please stop teasing me like that. I'm not interested in you that way. But now, and Skipper Doodle's cool, don't get me wrong. Just like G's cool, just like Shane's cool. There's cool people out here that I know in person. But so we made an adult decision about how we were going to maneuver, being able to stay in a hotel room, and he agreed to get a certain kind of room with two beds. So and so as long as we were, and it worked out just fine. And anyways, oh, I'm sorry, G. Oh, because I remember when you had it in one hand and how hard that was for you with the gout. You were in so much pain that day that I remember your hand being bad. I can't even imagine having it in two hands. Please go watch Dr. Ken Berry's stuff. Please. I hope that can help you. Oh, good Lord. So, but anyway, so I went up there. I was trying so hard to make sure y'all understood that I'm not a tramp, well, back in the day, that's what we called them, right? That I'm not doing all kinds of funky things. Anyway, that I forgot now what I was telling you about. Anyways, whatever. Okay, so, but it's up, but we got to be careful. We got to take care of ourselves, We're responsible for us. So I did get to go swimming. I ate a couple of things. I tried a couple of things. We actually ended up at where did we end up at? Oh, when I was dropping him off for the bus, he was getting a shuttle bus from Gallup to Albuquerque. Well, It wasn't much of a shuttle bus, and they told him that online it said it was a Greyhound bus station, and he had already pre-scheduled this before I got involved, before I was helping him with things. And so I just assumed he knew what he was doing and got. Well, it ended up being a 2, 3 day fiasco for him. It's not even a bus station up there. It was an old, run-down truck stop. But the restaurant was run by Hindis. I don't know which place they were from, but they had curried goat, they had lamb, so we had curried goat. And I haven't had spices in a long time, and it was kind of, it was a little spicy for me. Not horrible, but I kind of burnt my lip a little bit. And I was like, and I did have some not good digestion and a couple of days of being foggy afterwards. So it probably was way too soon for me to try something like that. But I was like, this doesn't happen that often. And so I wanted the goat, but I couldn't without the curry. So it was like, you know what, I'm just gonna, and I don't do like a lot of you people know. I know G knows. A lot of you people know I don't keep Christmas. I don't keep all these other holidays, and so I'm not eating all the stuff like y'all do when and birthdays and stuff like that. I'm not having cake. I'm not having. I've had a couple of drinks. I tried. Oh, I do not like bourbon. Oh, good Lord. And whiskey. Oh, they're so nasty. Oh, no. I like a glass of wine once in a while, so usually that means Passover. We get one glass of wine and we hand it around, and that's it. Um, so, but I did in Baja. I love coffee with Kahlua. I have to be careful of coffee with Kahlua. But anyways, so I hope that have I given you. I think that I've given you some good stuff. I think it's important. I know it's mixed in with my stories, but that's how I teach. That's how I share what's happened and how I maneuver things. But I need to remember to build in enough rest, even from a good stress, even from a drive to Gallup an hour away, or a going shopping in Show Low where I'm in and out of stores for how many hours and then driving for 2 hours, right? Because for me, going to Show Low is an 80 mile one way and to go to Walmart. And so I have to plan that the next day I'm not doing anything. I can't schedule things back to back anymore. And so I hope that this has been helpful to you. I'm using my Kelly kettle a lot here at the cabin again, because fuel is free, cheap to free. And I'm kind of out of other things right now. See that whole thing. I'm checking your messages in case you wonder why my eyes changed direction. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. And I'm not trying to, abuse myself more. I'm so open with everything I've been through because I have found that as I have healed, my allowing myself to mention it allows other people to relax with theirs. And then they can on their own deal with things. And so I want that. Oh, gee, I believe I'm supposed to come up and visit with you where you're going to campground host. I got to do what's right in front of me first and then figure it out. So, let me get into Overland Expo West. Then I have Zuki Palooza. Then I make the plans, or around that time, the next plan will show up. But this fall, I am planning to be at Overland Expo, Virginia. Oh, hey, Shadow Wolf. I'll be at Overland Expo, Virginia this fall. part of the reason I have decided to do that, besides teaching as well, my children, my son is in Arkansas and my daughter's in Virginia, and I haven't seen them in probably 15 years. And I figure that I might not want to drive that far away again, or that again, because I lived on the East Coast and I've done lots of East Coast stuff. And so I figure that it's time to go get a quick visit in with both of them. My son has had a new baby while I was in Baja during March. And I believe that that's a good time to go visit the kids, do that thing, and then I'm kind of free for other stuff. I don't know what that's going to mean. At 10:30, I have to go. I've never been a real estate agent, but I've got to go show somebody's cabin up here that's for sale, and we'll see what happens. All right, who's on? Who else is on here? Shadow Wolf. I saw somebody said you were here. You'll have to go back and watch some stuff, Shadow Wolf. And I don't know whether you and I can maneuver. You had offered me one of your old GoPros. Is there any way we could maneuver that or talk about it? Do you have my phone number? Can you text me? I tell you what, you can get my phone number from Bernie. I already told her she could give it to you, Shadow Wolf. If you could do that and text me and see if we can't figure that out, I would really probably be able to use it. Same way about rest it takes. Yes, I didn't realize some, but I'm noticing that. You'll be in Sierra Highlands. Would love hanging out with you. Such an well, thank you. That's lovely to hear. I appreciate all the support I get, even emotional support, friendly support when I get close to you in person, the hugs, because we don't get touched enough, and especially when we're really solo people, right? But I'm just saying, I appreciate you guys. Some of you have supported me financially. I wouldn't be where I am without what I've been through. And I appreciate each and every one of you for all the different things. Shane, the other day, I appreciated the phone call. Even though it went the way it did, I got something big out of it and I appreciated it. So I wanted you to know that too. Oh, you're going to move up here, Derek. Okay, cool. Cool. You're close, Sierra Islands. Might stop into Expo in Virginia if I knew the date and location. Okay, the date and location of Virginia, it's an Overland Expo, and it's October. I don't have it written down. It's October, and it's up near the Shenandoah Mountains, near the Skyline Drive thing. I don't remember the exact location, but if you look up Overland Expo East for 2023, that's exactly where it is, and you will see that because the dates are out there. I just don't have them written down. Can't look that up and not do something to the live. We have a few more minutes. Any more questions today? I feel so blessed that we have this time together. I look forward to my Sundays, and I do look forward to my Wednesdays, getting my blog post written for you all, but I didn't get it done this week. It was busy and I didn't have my thoughts all pulled together, but I keep trying. So that'll get more consistent, I'm sure. As I get more consistent, it was lovely that last month I got a check for $230 or something from YouTube. That's not a consistent income. And it did include super thanks and super chats because I know TJ Shack sent me a super thanks for like $100 for gas money while I was gone. And I got it, after I got back. That's so helpful. I appreciate it. I will be trying to figure out a better way to do those things. Although, once I get some more stuff done, then what more do there comes a point where you stop buying, where it just, you need the everyday stuff. But, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I still don't understand why Amazon says I'm not getting paid. I know I can see the graph that says you guys click on my Amazon store. Don't forget I have SimplyLesa.com, please. That allows you to click buttons to go places. I keep working on that, but it's, with me digging yard and moving fences, right now the computer works a little, sketchy. And with my signal being so weird out here all of a sudden again, bummer. I don't want to have to, I don't think that I could maintain the cost of Starlink. The fact that it's like $150 a month or something, I don't think I could maintain that. And so I don't think that that's something for me to do at this stage of the game. Yes, and I have paypal.me/SimplyLesa. I do have that. I went ahead, because somebody asked me to, I went ahead and got Cash App. I have never used it yet. It's set up. Again, that's Cash App SimplyLesa. But I don't know how to use it. I'd like to set it up somewhere where it's, buy me a coffee or buy me a couple of gallons of gas or something. That would be kind of nice to set that up in some other way. And I realized the other day, I never thought about this before. Oh, hey, Beth. And didn't I see somebody else came in? Whoops. My signal must have lagged because that's you, Beth. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, so I'd like to, I hadn't thought about it before, but I should set it up so that if you want to just add to an Amazon gift card account thing, that you could do that. You could put $2 in there and it would be fine. And then when I buy something, it'll just, get used. I don't know how to set that up yet, but that would be really helpful too. Because like I was talking with G earlier here in the chat thing, when we bought that carne seca for me, he was with me and then he bought some for himself. But when we bought that carne seca, that I was like, I hope this will help me on my trip, that was a really good purchase. And I should continue to have that around. So that would be helpful. All right. 11. And I'm ready for meeting these people to show them the cabin about 7 miles away from me that's for sale. It's a cabin on 10 acres of land. And, okay. I can't think of anything else right now. Have I missed anything? This will be available on replay in the future. When you come back in and you're hunting for replays, look at the buttons at the top. On your computer, it's a row of words and it says videos, live. You click on live. Community, something else. Now on my laptop is a Chromebook. When I hit community, it says not available on this device. Well, that sucks. But on my phone, community's right there. I don't like Facebook. I'm so bored with the groups and the groups of nomads and the same old questions. And when I answer somebody, they don't have any idea that I have experience and I don't know. Facebook, I don't know. But I do have the group out there and I do want to make that a private group. What I want to do is You all know what Patreon is, most likely. It's a separate piece of software, sort of like YouTube or something, right? But Patreon is separate and it's subscription based. You can't make it completely free. Well, people can get kinda in for free, but people subscribe to pay a certain amount every month, or they can pick an amount. And so I thought about doing Patreon, but I was like, wait a minute. So many of us, we got stuff already, and YouTube has got the same functions. It's more expensive on YouTube, but we're already out here. And so I learned that on YouTube, you can have a Facebook group, make it private, and have it hooked to your YouTube membership. And then if your membership is cheap enough, which right now mine is, but I'm not even using it like I want to, but you can make it so it's members only. And so you'd have to be a member subscriber to get into the YouTube group. But then you could talk real time with me and other people and with each other. And we could talk about whatever we want and not be, I don't know the word, censored. So it is something I want to set up so that it's more similar to Patreon, but without us having to do a new piece of software. And then I could get out of a bunch of groups I'm in, and then you guys could just share stuff about me in other groups and let them come over and find me a different way. Because it's too much for me to try to be the expert in the SUV RVing women's only group, or the SUV RVing group, being a member, or the cheap nomadic group, or I don't have time to be in 25 different groups. I'll never get anything else done. So I don't know. Future stuff. It's 11:05. I'm going to let y'all go. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. Pick something. Take turtle steps and get close to whatever your new adventure is. Look at what Skip did. He's on his plane right now going to the Philippines. Pray for each other. Think about each other. When you think about each other, send each other little messages. If you have to do it through the comments in my videos, do it. Use that. That's what it's for. Don't forget, Tiny UPS is on here. Tiny GPS. George is on here today. George and his wife Tammy have a kindness challenge for the month of May. And so they're asking us to all do something to help somebody else each day. And they wanted us to go on to their Facebook or something and write the word done. You're going to have to do my dones for me, George, because I can't keep up with it. I was trying to, but it's wearing me out. I'm not going to get through a whole month, but I'm doing stuff every day to help people. And this is another one thing I've done today, but there's a bunch more on the way. Because going to show somebody's cabin for sale, and I'm not a real estate agent, and it's not my job, and it's out of the kindness of my own heart, and I don't think that I'm getting any money for doing this. I'm just doing it to help a friend out. So, to take 2 or 3 hours to go walk a property with something, here we go again. But it's what I do. And I saw Norm's van video and how he was saying something about, he's the guy in the group that when he gets there, he says, don't move your bus, I'll take you to town. Well, I've always been that one in the past in RTR groups and stuff like that. I just was paralyzed the year they filmed a movie that made everybody famous except for me. And when I've done things that then Sue Ann or Bob took my lead and took them on and turned them into Howa things. I didn't get credit for that, but I just want you to know that I have been giving and giving and giving and giving, and I will continue. And there are moments when it's tiring, and there are moments when it's challenging, and there are moments when people don't notice that or remember that you have a disability, and then they do something or they say something, and then you have to like suck it up and move on. And hopefully the video you got this week was fun to watch. I will be putting out one that has a lot of that bumpy driving in it soon. So y'all have a wonderful week. Do what you can, okay? Have a great week. Pray for each other. And ciao.